This is a journey into sound.
The fattest, funkiest tunes in town.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
All right. Okay. Without any more waiting. Good morning, y'all. My name's Elaine. Some people call me Stock Mom. Some people call me the fucking Monopoly Queen. And it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Stockhouse U Pre-Market Show. Now, what do we do here? Well, we do a lot of top-down analysis. We love talking about futures, indices, ETFs, individual stocks. We talk about the news, and boy, are we going to talk about Biden today. We talk about our trades, both good and the bad ones, and the psychology behind those trades. Now, what we do not do, and what we do not approve of, is giving out financial advice. We'll never tell you how to trade. We'll never ask you for some money. But what we will do is tell you why we make the trades that we do. Hopefully that helps you on your journey to becoming an awesome trader or investor in the market. I'm joined by some of my favorite people. Christopher, Liv, Vanessa, Shivam, hey El, Patrick, Annika, Raul, Marcus. Wow, full stage. Okay, I wasn't paying attention and now I am. We're in here thick today, you guys. So happy to be sharing a stage with you. So normally we like to start our days off with a little bit of a quote. And today I am going to let I'm gonna let Liv start. Hey Liv, good morning.
Good morning. How's everybody doing today?
It's hard on Clubhouse because if we all answer at the same time, it's just like you're gonna get one of those things. You got to direct your questions, Liv. How's whose morning doing today?
How is Rel's morning doing today? And Annika, 2 for 1.
Amazing, guys.
Just
amazing.
kidding.
Thank you.
I'm happy to hear that. Okay, so my quote today is: we all have our likes and dislikes, but when we're doing news, when we're doing front page news, not the back page, not the op-ed pages, but when we're doing the daily news covering politics, it's our duty to be sure what we do not permit our prejudice to show. That is simple, basic journalism. And I know this is a quote for journalists, but I want to bring it in the context of traders. I don't want you guys to let the news that you see cloud your judgment and bring emotional belief into a stock that you may be holding. Like I've heard hopium, don't let your emotions sink into the way that you trade. So just be logical, be firm, set a discipline, have an entry and exit point, and stick to it with discretion of how the stock moves.
I love that. Shivam, do you have a quote for us today?
Absolutely. And my quote is by Robert Collier. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. And that's what you talk about. 30% gains are not bad gains. That's what you need.
Oh yeah, for sure. I absolutely understand that. Okay, I'll go. So my quote today is by John Robinson. And it's kind of on the same note as Liv. The purpose of studying economics is not to acquire a set of ready-made answers to economic questions, but to learn how to avoid being deceived by economists. So much of what we hear is purpose-built, and I don't know if anybody witnessed my room last Friday with the Bitcoiners, but there are so many people who use the news as a way to validate their inherent bias towards one thing or another. And it's like we can look at any of the crypto news in terms of adoption with these companies and make either a bearish or a bullish case based on the way that it's implemented within that company's infrastructure. However, I'm not here to make a point about Bitcoin. I'm just saying it's awesome to come here and learn and share information so as to avoid confirmation bias and avoid trying to just, hey, this is happening. Sorry, using the information to validate ourselves. So it really is nice just to learn more objectively. Let's see. Vanessa, good morning. Do you have a quote for us?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Kind of similar to my previous quotes, but my quote is the key to success is to focus on your goals and not the obstacles. So my advice to everybody this morning is to stay focused. I'm done speaking.
Today we are laser focused on Biden's freaking stimulus or whatever his economic recovery plan and what taxes he's gonna use to pay for it, because that is what I'm laser focused on. So good morning to everybody else. I'll kind of go through it. You guys don't have to have a quote if you don't have anything. You can just say good morning, or you can get into it. I'm good either way. Good morning, El.
Good morning. I do have a quote because someone sent me one this morning on Twitter. So I'm just going to repeat that, but it's a quote from Roger Babson. And the quote is, property may be destroyed and money may lose its purchasing power, but character, health, knowledge, and good judgment will always be in demand under all conditions. So I thought that was a good quote.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. Hand claps for everybody today. Good morning, Patrick.
Good morning. I do have a quote, but it's going to be hard to follow El Profesor's quote. That was a really good one. I wish it would have called on me first. But I know my quote's from Warren Buffett, and I think it kind of fits the market we've been in for the last month, and maybe for a couple more for the foreseeable future for right now. But the stock market is a device for transferring money from the inpatient to the patient. So I think that's just really important right now, just given the choppiness. Be patient, look for the right entry points, and pick the stocks that you believe in, as everyone always preaches, and that's it.
Yep, I totally agree. It is a commonly said thing, and I'm happy every time I hear it, because we all need to be constantly reminded to be patient and not to rush it. So much appreciated. Good morning, Annika.
Hi, I have a good quote that we should all keep in mind this lovely Wednesday morning. It's like the more money we come across, the more problems we see. That is from the notorious B.I.G.
What a heater quote.
It's not investment advice.
Of course, you came in with the fucking Biggie quotes.
But we do need to be mindful of the kind of company we keep. And as you become more successful, the kind of people that you attract. I think that's kind of the bigger picture, and making sure that people have their values in check, and that you are not a dollar sign to them.
Well, you know what? I'm thankful because with all of you, I'm in such great company these days. It's so appreciated. Bro, good morning.
Yo, good morning. Let's see. I didn't really have a quote. Wasn't prepared for a quote.
No, it's okay.
Just listening in and trying to listen to this news with Biden and maybe raining on the SPY.
Oh, hell yeah. You know we love talking about Spiral. It's coming up. Good morning, Marcus.
Good morning. Good morning. I do have a quote, actually, Paul Samuelson quote. Investing should be more like watching more like watching paint dry or watching grass grow. If you want excitement, take $800 and go to Vegas.
Oh my God. Everybody, I'm really into that. Everybody thinks every type of trading or investing is supposed to be exciting. It's like, nah, if it's exciting, you're doing it wrong. It's definitely supposed to be boring.
What do you have against my 200% guaranteed gains every year?
Oh my God. I'll see you in the definitely Annika exposed room after this. Good morning, Alec. Alec, how are you doing today?
Good morning, everyone. Very good. How are you, Elaine?
Ready to talk about the markets.
Absolutely. Then I'll keep it short and sweet. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. And I think that's really good advice for the stock market too. Sometimes we get down, we're not moving as fast as we want to, or especially in today's day and age with social media, everybody's posting these gains and you're like, man, I'm just not moving the way I want. Well, just keep moving. That's all that really matters.
I have something to admit to you guys. So, you know that I day trade and whatever. Occasionally, I post like how much, like what I'm trading and how it's gone. And the past 2 days, it's been decent. And yesterday, I grew my total overall account by 0.8%, and that felt fucking great. Like it doesn't need to be a major win. It doesn't need to be a 5% day. Like that, all of that shit is out there. Like if the shit goes up at all, I'm so excited and happy. And so I always want to celebrate people taking profits and making gains regardless of the size. It is consistency over these big wins, because we all lose. So with that said, let's get into it. It's up and it's stuck. Well, who knows if it's stuck, but it's definitely up. So every one of our major indices is in the green right now. Where do you guys want to start? I mean, let's look at the NASDAQ. Let's try to get it. Let's put eyes on this thing. So while I'm looking at the NASDAQ on a daily chart, in our morning briefings and the posts I put on Instagram, I actually posted a weekly chart, just to get a little bit of a different perspective. And so I think I want to talk about it from a weekly chart perspective this time around. Now, on a weekly, we can say that the past 2 weeks that we've had have been doji weeks. And those doji weeks have come directly after we've had 3 large downturns of a day. That was basically preempted by a rejection from an all-time high. And this is sort of where we're at in basically every index. However, you can see it very clearly in the NASDAQ, where we've been on just this complete uptrend, just a terrifying uptrend. That's happened. Gosh, I mean, when was the last time we even took some sort of decent pullback? In October, right? August, maybe? So between that, it's just been straight up since last March. And I'm really, really happy to see us take this nice little pullback and have a moment to collect ourselves. Now, as always, I do have activation levels, and those haven't necessarily changed because we continue trading in a range. Something that I do find is important, though, and a lot of other people have talked about it as well, is not just the doji, just not the indecision, not the hesitancy, not even the volatility of, hey, we've had these days that have swung wildly, from fairly large pullbacks to end in the green or at our start. The storyline that I want to talk about really has been the decrease in volume and the decrease in size of these candles. I think I find that very significant to talk about who's participating in the market and the level of exuberance that they have to hop into these trades and to hold on to these stocks. I still feel like a lot of people are waiting on the sidelines to take a position. There's a lot of cash. We hear it all the time. The banks have whatever people's savings account are at an extreme rate right now. These banks are sitting on a lot of cash, so much, especially after the SLR exemption happens. So where is that cash going to go? We don't know yet. But where it's not, and it's obvious purely from the size of these candles, is that it's not going into the NASDAQ right now. That's something that I'm looking for and waiting to see a resolution in. Now, obviously, we have this consolidation phase, and I've been talking about it, and I'll give you my levels, but they haven't changed much from yesterday, and that's the thing, right? I'm still looking for a change in this pattern, or are we just going to continue to trade in range? I mean, I've talked about it. Yesterday, I said, I think SPY is going to go down to 393. Why did I say that? Because it's done that before. It's continued to do that, and we have not broken out of that yet. And that's not an issue for me, and it shouldn't be an issue for all of you. Sorry. So here are my levels on a large scale. If we were to drop below the 12,700 level, I definitely would be looking for a next leg down, more towards the 12,250 level. Now, inside of this, I do have a Let's see here. I do have I guess I want to talk about the 50-day moving average at the 13,100 level, which I'd love to see us hold over. Anything above 13,000 would be great. I think we've been waiting for that on the NASDAQ for quite some time now. And then the 13,300 level was our support as we reached all-time high. It now acts as a resistance. So that would be the change for me to say, hey, we're moving from a consolidation phase into a bullish phase, especially if we can hold at that level. But so far we've been trading in range, and I actually don't see a reason for why we wouldn't. Now, economic infrastructure, increased taxes, anything going on with the trade war, anything going on with the COVID, those are catalysts that could absolutely break us out of this. But currently, it's been a lot that has happened. We've had Jerome Powell talk. We've definitely had upticks in COVID cases. We've definitely had reopening / not reopening plays going on. So far, there hasn't been much that's been able to break this cycle, and especially the relation with the 10-year. So the 10-year is down today. Maybe we will see the NASDAQ have a really great day. But in terms of breaking into all-time highs and continuing that enormous bullish moment that we've been having, I'm still looking for something to give me an indication that that trend is going to continue. And I know I've talked way too long about one thing. So I will say just though, from last day's market to this market, we're up 0.75% so far. Moving over to the Russell, which was just a hard hit space and has been one of the biggest laggards inside of the market over the past few days. We've seen this thing kind of come back and break back into range. So I've been talking about that 2,200 to 2,300 range. We did a nice pullback. I don't know if you guys use Fib, but the way that we look at Fib is if we take retracements to, some of the smaller percentages like a 23.6 or a 38.2 and then recover, we can once again start to quantify something as a bullish retracement, right? I did not have moving averages crossover. I did not fall below a certain percentage of retracement. This is good. I'm still willing to call this bullish and look forward towards the upside on some of these things. Now, a bearish retracement might go down to the 50%, 61%, definitely underneath the 61.8%. We start to consider these bearish level retracements. And this is purely off of looking at a fib. So with that said, we definitely bounced off our 23.6 level retracement, and we're right back in range, sitting at the bottom of that range at 2,200. Do I know what the Russell's going to do today? No. Do I definitely downgrade the possibility of it recovering after it's broken that support line 1, 2, 3 times in the past? I do. Right? I'm now looking to see if this thing continues to establish, and I'm definitely would rather it establish than make another leg up, giving me increased levels of volatility where I don't know where the support is on this thing because it's broken its support previously a few times already. But yeah, holding under that 2,200 level, it definitely does make me look down towards 21, and then underneath that straight to 2,000. So moving on to our S&P 500 futures. Once again, this storyline is very similar, except for the S&P, much like the Dow, has been a little bit more resilient and a little bit more to the upside than our NASDAQ, which definitely took a larger pullback. So looking at the S&P 500, I mean, right now we're sitting so close to our all-time highs. Right? It's a 1% difference right now. And and that's where I like us in a lot of ways. It says a lot about the other side of the market. Now, if you're on a weekly chart and you're comparing these candles to the candles of previous weeks, I think you'll see that the size of these candles, which purely shows how many people are buying and selling, is not nearly as diminished as it is on the NASDAQ. That's the beautiful part about looking at candle charts. You can get that sort of information on sentiment just by looking at it. And so let's see here. Yesterday in the futures, well, we closed at 39.47. We sit here at 39.54, a 0.17% uptick. It's not much to speak of. However, if you look in, we know where we're at. And right now, personally, we've been trading deeply inside of a range. And that range is... Sorry, you guys, I'm zooming in. So, and that range would be like 3,860 to this 3,930 level. To hold above that already has been really enticing. We can talk about it on the SPY version where we closed at 396 on Monday. You know, we're closing on the upper side of that range, which makes us look to the upside. Now, do I think that we're going to break past 4,000 or break past 400 on SPY and continue to hold without some sort of decent economic catalyst? No, I do not. However, looking to us holding on the upside really does show the split recovery side of our market and the split interest where people are holding their stocks and where people are still looking for growth. It's clear that they're looking in the S&P 500, at least currently. We've seen small caps take a pullback. We see tech having a K-shaped, recovery where there are some stocks that are doing fine, while some of our mega stocks, our large caps, are still struggling inside of that space. So with that said, I'm happy to see the S&P at this level, specifically in the futures. If we fall below the 3,930 level, I'll definitely be looking to the next leg down because that's where we've been trading in range historically. However, I love to see us establishing a support on top of a previous resistance. For me, this is a bullish sort of progression, and I'm looking towards the future. My name's Elaine, and I'm done. Anybody else looking at futures? Or are we going to let Chris get into this oil talk? All right, y'all. Chris, go ahead. Hit us up with some oil news, man. How's it looking today?
All right, guys. So when we're looking at oil, we're still, checking supply and demand, and quite simply, we're kind of stuck in this range, right? And I've been saying it for a while, and I'm going to continue saying it. The whole Suez Canal thing, as far as slowing it down, we could, be seeing 2 to 3 weeks, possibly a month before we actually see some sort of clear direction. Now, besides saying that, we actually have, the OPEC meeting tomorrow, and if they're, give the forward guidance that I think they're going to, be consistent with what they said last month is just, reassurance on slow continued growth, then, I'd like to see us break over that 61.40, 61.55 level. But we're really still kind of waiting to see, and there's so much confusion because we're getting more lockdown news. However, we had good Pfizer news this morning about its 100% efficacy rate, so that is leading to some return of normalcy if they can get that going. But until we actually have finite news, we're looking at this $60-$61 range on oil, and on the Brent side, like I said, that $63.75 to that $65 range, and it's going to stay there for a little while.
Yeah, I love that. I'm curious about how the new futures are going to affect kind of Brent oil specifically, since the Saudi and Brent, that's kind of in a similar family. Obviously, Brent does totally kind of determine where WTI is going to go at a certain level. I also am, so that 100% efficacy thing was only among teenagers. And like I've been posting articles just because I got challenged about it yesterday about like the mutations and like the fact that these mutations are coming faster than we can adapt our vaccines. So I don't know. I totally agree with you though.
Isn't there something going on too? Chris, didn't you tweet something today about there's some really new deadly variant somewhere?
I don't remember saying that, but I'll look into it. But it would have been like something I would.
It was Gergiven and Alex who were talking about it. I think it was a
okay.
deadly variant in Europe or something. Yeah.
I posted something from CNBC about it, but that was on Instagram because
Gotcha.
We're gonna have this conversation another day about Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, yeah, whatever. They're both good, Chris. That's the thing. All right, let's go to the next segment so we can get through this. Because I know you got some.
All right, guys, it is time for trash trades, and yeah, I've definitely got some. But you know what time it is. If you had a trade that didn't go so well according to plan, raise your hands. Let's do a little quick therapy about it. You might get laughed at. You might, it's all good fun here. But no one's
gonna
not
get laughed at.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, Chris, you will get laughed at. I'm gonna laugh at you for sure.
Exactly.
But everybody else, it's nothing but respect. It's hard out here.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, you see the kind of redheaded stepchild treatment I get on this stage, and this is
Chris. We love you. Stop it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Anyways. Okay, guys. So let me tell you about the train I tried to ride in CSCW from the $1.87 ride, and I just thought it was gonna. $1.81, and I was like, yeah, it has the momentum. The volume was going up. I loved it, and then this huge selling pressure candle came out of nowhere, and now we're at 167, and I'm in my stop loss is at 165, and so I'm almost there. But like honestly, why is my stop loss 20% below? I don't know. That's my trash trade for the day, but I'm really trying to believe in this NFT space, and so I set a 20% instead of a 10% like I normally should, and so I'm just beating myself up about it.
Yeah, it happens, man. It's okay. So, how can you do better next time?
Stick to the script. 10% stop loss. If I'm riding a momentum trade, then I need to make sure that I'm able to watch the chart the entire time instead of just relying on the stop. Because honestly, I looked away from it from 20, 30 minutes, and I could have saved myself some time by one having a 10% stop, and then two actually watching the entire trade when I'm doing a day trade or a swing.
Yep, it's okay, man. It seriously happens to the best of us. Anybody else?
Yeah, VTSI had a cup and handle price action going on, and it shoots up past 9, and which was pretty much its all-time high. I'm thinking that it's going to continue up to 11, 12, 13. I think my target price was maybe 10, and so I'm holding it overnight. And but I purchased it. Guess when I purchased it? Way too early in the middle of the day. I couldn't wait for the end of the day for it to actually finish above 9. So as the day goes on, it as it gets closer to closing power hour, it completely drops off the table and falls underneath the all-time high of 9 to 797. So now I'm probably going to have to cut losses right on open, and they look like it dropped even more overnight. So that's my trash trade.
Oh, man. How can we do better next time, Rel? What could you do to kind of improve that outcome?
Just give it a little bit more time. Try to purchase it towards the end of maybe end of power hour, and make sure that it holds that $9 area. And I think that's what I would do next time.
No, I totally feel it. I know, like, for all of us technical traders, like there's a place in a cup and handle that you're supposed to enter, right? It's like on the break of the lip of the cup, on the completion of the handle, and so many times you get excited, like at the handle part. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get in on this thing real early, like it's gonna break, and like I don't know, we all scale in, so I know that's not a question, but it's just like you get excited to scale into this thing as opposed to wait for the actual breakout, and I don't know, I've done that too, Rel. So you're super not alone, and those failed breakouts. I mean, 2021 is failed breakout year. Maybe I'm gonna make that a room title one of these days. Um, oh, did I see you take your mic off? I'd love to hear a trash trade from you. You sound so well put together.
Yeah. So I haven't been posting all my trades because I'm doing a few risky trades by myself, which I obviously don't want to mislead my followers on. But I added SOS 2 days ago, and then they came out with an offering yesterday, which was pretty annoying because they gapped down. And I'm a finance guy, so I read through every single element of the financial statements, and I didn't see that coming. So that's what really annoyed me, because I couldn't anticipate that. But it was just one of those things. But luckily, I managed to double down yesterday, and I'm pretty much almost even already. So wasn't as disastrous as it could be, but yeah, that wasn't great.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to call that a trash trade, but it definitely sucks when you get caught in an offering. I mean, I'll ask you, what do you think you could have done better? How could you have prevented that?
I guess I probably so I have a rule for myself where I don't usually trade penny stocks or risky stocks like sub $7-8 really, and I kind of broke my own rule. So I guess I just need to remind myself that by entering these stocks, I'm going to have that volatility and that those potential offerings or whatever it is, and gaps up and gaps down. So yeah, I guess just reminding myself of my own rules and to follow them.
No, totally. And I really agree with that. I put rules all behind my trading station and stuff like that. All right, I'll go just to wrap it up because I have a trash trade. In this trash trade, I mean, there's a number of them, to be honest. But it just goes like this. Like, I knew what I wanted on SPY yesterday. I called it. It happened. I was on the phone. Well, not really. But like I talked to Christopher while it was happening. Like we had a good time. And because I was so fucking distracted yesterday, I missed the entry that I called that we hit that I was looking for because I'm way too accessible. I spend way too much time with my phone in my hand. And yeah, I don't know. I like somebody else who, like, going off the things that I called out, made a 35% SPY trade, and yesterday my SPY trade was at 5 fucking percent. And honestly, like, I had another leg of it that was like -2%, right? So it was just I missed my entry mostly because I wasn't paying attention. This is not the first time I've come in here and said that that was how I fucked up my trade, and I did it again. So for myself. I think I'm literally just gonna, like, lock my phone at least for 3 hours during the day and just not answer it. It's so sad that I have no self-control inside of this, and I'll pick up. But like, anyways, that's it. And on top of it, it's like I can talk about things that aren't stocks, but talking about stocks while I'm trying to actually be in the market is so distracting for me. So I'm gonna try to literally give myself a timeout period during the day. At least the first 2 hours of the market where I'm not really participating in anything but trading, because it's just terrible. So distracted trading got me probably for the third time this year.
That's a great idea, Elaine. And one thing, I mean, not to be a boomer here, but another thing that I had to start doing is not have everything be digital. I have a notebook that has removable pages. It's one of those like tool or something, so I can move pages in and out of it. I have a pen and I have a huge glass. It's like a magnetic board behind me, and I write shit down. I have so many watch lists and so many different apps, but I actually physically write stuff down. I write in, if I don't want to get a wash sale, if I'm taking a tax loss, I write it down and I say, do not purchase until this date, so that I have it, because the number of times I've gotten a wash sale on something because I re-entered like 2 days before. And then I ended up not getting that tax loss. So it's stuff like that. I check my board first, and if there's nothing on my board, that means it's not going to set fire. So that's some more little, yeah. And I love the idea of just putting your phone away for a couple hours.
Yeah, I love that. I used to have all these journals around my place, and like they used to be filled with angsty teenage poetry, and now it's just stock tickers, fucking
That's
ETFs. Like that's
yeah,
the new
that's
angsty
yeah.
poetry for all of us. Fucking rocket, UFO,
Oh,
moon,
if
space
the
ETFs.
FBI came and snuck in on me, they'd be like, "Why has she been tracking Tesla for 5 years in a notebook?"
Because we're destined for greatness. With that said, let's do a quick refresh and then get to it.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first place every morning you should stop to get your stock market news. That's right, I'm talking about the morning show presented by Stockhouse University. We are not financial advisors, and this is not financial advice. This is a conversation amongst friends that love talking about stocks and want to improve our profitability by coming here every day, talking about the market, relevant news, and how we're going to use that information to be profitable. We think education should be accessible and affordable to everyone, so we have a free Discord that has tons of resources and over 1,800 amazing members at all different skill levels that are also talking about the market, and they're trying to grow as well. We also do free classes on Sundays, and we would love it if you would join that community and contribute, because together we are so much more powerful than we are individually. Invite your friends, invite your family. Let's all create opportunities for generational wealth. Also, if you like the conversations that we have here, make sure to click the greenhouse on the top and join the community. We'd love to continue the conversations, and we would love it if you guys would contribute every time we're on stage, not just in the Stockhouse U family. Thank you.
All right. I think let's have Liv. Do you want to talk about SPY? You want to lead this discussion, my friend?
Yeah, I can. Okay, so when it comes to SPY right now, yesterday I was like, it was going to hit a specific key level, and we saw that it did hit 395, and well, it got pretty close in what I wanted. My only issue right now is SPY is it's at 395 and open, and I really want for it to stay there throughout the day. Like, I really want it to not just do a tease like yesterday where it touched a couple of times, and then after that it sunk back down at the end of the day. But I really do believe, looking at the chart, at least in pre-market, it is going to move up throughout today. So the levels that I'm looking at is a break of 395 to consolidate around 395.5 and stay there. I would like for it to then slowly move up towards all-time highs. If not, I think we would probably test 396 today and then retrace back to 394, because 394 seems to be the basic level that we've had at least since the start of this week, and maybe 393, but so far it's been 394 around that range, and that's pretty much it.
You know, I'd love to hear another person's take on this. Rel, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll add to that. So on what was this date? This is 6/1, which was 3 days. I believe that was Friday. We It was a very interesting day because we opened up outside of a congestion level, which signaled to me a downtrend, but we finished the day off up into the 190s. I'm sorry, into the three, like around 389, back into that congestion level, back into congestion. So that was interesting. So I'm going to call that an established downtrend. And then from there, so we're at an established downtrend. We shoot up the next day, and I'm going to call this range expansion, where the next into was this the high was it was in it looks like it was in 395 396 level, the high of the day. And so we shot up into the 395 level, and it created another high yesterday, the day before yesterday. So now we're still in that range expansion, and yesterday we came down from that range expansion, and from here I was looking to actually go downwards past the 385. If you don't call this choppy, it's it's very choppy. So I'm expecting for today to try to shoot towards the SPY, to shoot towards the 385 level. And if it doesn't, and if it creates another high, then we are officially in an uptrend, which will be very interesting.
Ooh, I kind of like that take as well. Shivam, are you looking at SPY or L? Anybody else?
I've been following the Nasdaq more because what I've been noticing is a lot of my stocks, because I'm mainly in growth and tech, have been following the Nasdaq, because there've been days where the SPY is green and my stocks are still taking a beating. So I'm very closely watching the Nasdaq. I think if 318.50-ish breaks, then it'll be a big day for tech. But it's looking good so far pre-market. So let's see how it opens.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've really been looking to hold above even the 315 level. Like for me on a retracement, that for me is like a 50% retracement already. And seeing us kind of sit around this 310 region, it is a big one. And you're right, El. We've been seeing the S&P have sit very close to all-time highs, whereas the Qs are definitely not in that region at all. It's been significantly more choppy, and we've been seeing a lot more pullbacks. And on top of that, we've been seeing a significant amount of hesitancy on our green days, whereas the red days are taking us down, 1, 2, 3 percentage points sometimes. Well, sorry, basis points sometimes. So I am struggling to watch this establish, especially as we sit on top of the 100-day moving average. I would love to see us literally just hold on top of it. There have been 1, 2, 3 days in the past since the beginning of March that already are kind of falling below, and then below that, where is our support? Right at the 300 level. Well, we've violated that too. Is it the 290 level? Well, I don't know. We haven't touched it, but our 200-day moving average is kind of coming up. So this would be a nice chance to reset sort of our RSI, MACD, and see if we can get people to continue on the bullish side of it. I love looking at the Qs. We do not talk about it enough.
So
And
I
it,
have
yeah, go for it,
one thing
Shivam.
to add. I'm watching the levels on SPY today, but something is in my mind still, and that is what Biden is going to speak about $2.25 trillion bill, right? Now, the biggest thing is when someone says $2.25 trillion or $1.9 trillion like a month back, you saw what yields ended up doing for the best part of 6 weeks. We have seen it fluctuating up and down, up and down. Right now, those are not moving. Something tells me in my mind that maybe there's a tax some kind of text composition would be there of this entire bill, that maybe there's increase in tax or whatever it is. So that's what I want to discuss with you all. Like, that's why maybe today is being green, because yields are also not moving, tech is also looking good. But when he speaks after hours, it could be a big reason that there's a tax composition to it, and then we'll be back to ground zero where we again start to rebuild.
No, you said it great, Shivam. I mean, on the back end, like we kind of talk, and it's like you think kind of very similar to how I think. I think the market's waiting. This is kind of just like how it is before a JPOW speech. Do you see the hesitancy? You see the waiting, and it's sad because we know how they're going to react when Biden says he's going to raise corporate taxes to pay for this thing. Like we know what the market's going to do. So taking that into account, you know what I was going to say about the SPY thing, like how many days have we seen where this thing has traded between 383 and 393? Significant. There's been that is the majority of where we've been trading for the past few months at this point.
4 weeks we have played this between 383 to 393. Last time we touched 378. Since then we have not seen 378 again.
We haven't. And on top of that, before that 378 touch, we were right back in the 383 393 section yet again, where before that it acted sort of as a little bit of a resistance, right? So to see us trade inside of this, to see us kind of consolidate and have smaller and smaller candles inside of this, it really only says one thing, that we're waiting for some type of news. And I think Biden's going to give it to people. I don't know. I see people kind of talking about, I just, even though it's going to be good for sure. And I don't know if you guys have been watching, but a lot of the like Biden stocks have been doing well. Like in the run up to this, we've seen medical marijuana or just any of the marijuana things kind of have a little bit of an uptick, which was nice to see. We're starting to see our solar sector and renewable energy sector kind of have a little bit of an uptick. And I think it's absolutely in anticipation of this. But with that said, we've definitely talked too long, or maybe we haven't talked long enough. Does anybody else kind of want to chime in on some news factors, things that you're looking at right now?
I'm interested to hear about the $10 trillion from you guys. The $10 trillion stimulus from Biden, what he said.
2.25, right? Isn't that the next, that's the next stimulus number that we're looking at?
As of now.
Christopher, do you have any news for us today?
I think there was one more news on Boeing. Probably they got an order from Alaska Airlines or something.
Yeah, they got another order. I was just about to say that.
23 planes. There was a previous order that they needed 9 right now, 16 later. Then they amended to 23 overall, which is a confirmed order, I guess. That's how I read it. And the delivery is spread between 22, 23, and 24, like year 22, 23, and 24. So another catalyst for them. And the other news is my baby Chewy has been killing it, and I give the complete credit for whatever. When I got Chewy last June, July to my wife, because she used to order for my cats, like for our cats. So
more proof that women are the best traders. That's
100%. I saw that happening, and the next door neighbor, I saw them having Chewy stuff. So I was like, man, I'm gonna buy this thing. And sometimes this kind of research, which you do in your real life, not just in charts, end up paying you good. So yeah, I'm happy.
I actually, I had to step away for a second, but did we talk about your baby XPEV? And also on the next Hate Money segment, everybody's going to have to come forward and talk about how they haven't been trading TMST on a daily basis, because I know it makes the watch list on a daily basis, and it's honestly 3 to 7% on a daily basis, and nobody talks about it. And my name's Chris, and we all hate money.
Who put you on, Chris? Say it out loud, Chris. Who put you on?
I won't. Anyway, Xpeng sets record for the longest autonomous driving. And don't they have a conference today?
Yeah, it's a webinar to kind of talk about this. I've been seeing a lot of influencers actually. I mean, I keep talking about the XPEV car. I've actually seen it in real life. It looks nice. It drives cool. I've heard people talk about it. I'm kind of a fan. Like, and I don't care about any of it necessarily, but it's one of my favorite picks inside of the EV space. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it. That's all I wanted to say. That's it. That's the only news I was looking at.
Oh, word? That's all you got, Chris? Okay, so...
I mean, do we get Apple?
Yeah, of course. Do you want to talk about it?
You got it. Go ahead.
Oh my God, you can shine, Chris. I want to see you shine. So Apple got upgraded for people thinking about the Apple Car and what that's going on. This is really nice to see that analysts are actually looking towards the Apple Car as the future. I'm really excited to hear about the partnership. I know that we've been talking about this for a while. We haven't actually seen or heard of any confirmed things yet. However, the fact that people are even starting to consider that in the equation means that, whatever. We know that that news travels fast, and I'm sure that we'll get some sort of update on that as time goes on. We've had a couple of failed movements with that already, so I'm into this. JP Morgan says that the Archegos hit might be up to $10 billion, which is not an insignificant amount of money for anybody. I really have enjoyed. Yesterday I came in here and talked about financials. I talked about looking at Goldman and Sachs and JP Morgan and thinking that there might be some sort of recovery. I wanted to see what the price action was like. Lo and behold, XLF becomes one of the one of the winning sectors of the day. Does that mean that I can tell the future? Maybe it does. I'm not promising anything, but what I can say is that we don't see movement like this inside of the financial sector often. And just like the same thing where I say, hey, things that go up extremely fast, the stock market does not work like that. Everything will give you a buying opportunity. And a lot of these pullbacks based not really on deep level fundamentals, we're still in a place with high yield rates where we expect them to continue to rise. Banks do well in this sort of economic atmosphere. And so I looked at this, this pullback. I looked at this humongous snafu dealing with insider trading and a tiger cub who was on a no work with list. And I say that regardless of the major hit now, am I going to be trading Credit Suisse or Nomura, which I believe is a Japanese bank that he was one of their biggest funds? No, I'm not. But when I'm looking to some of our major banks and seeing that the entire sector kind of took a little bit of a pullback after it's been on a fucking rampage through the stock market for the past few weeks, yeah, I love that. And I see that as an opportunity. And so I'm really following this very closely and looking for decent entry points. Mortgage rate increase hits lenders as the refinancing surge fizzles. So we're also seeing that. I know a lot of people bought houses and property as we had very low rates in the middle of COVID, and we're seeing this come out. I'm also still waiting to see how the economics are going to play out in terms of people defaulting on loans. Right, that number is actually rising, and tomorrow or maybe today I'll make a graphic about it because it delinquencies and 60-day notices is something that you can check on a federal level, and they have been rising. However, on the other side of things, we also are expecting to get a good jobs report. I think 650,000 new jobs we're expecting to be added this month on Friday, as well as a 6% rate of unemployment, which would be a nice pullback if we do get those predictions to come out. I don't know. I can't predict anything. That's what we're looking for. That is what we're expecting on the street. What else?
Marathon.
Oh my God, Marathon it's patent, right? That's what they're called. Marathon Patent is going to be doing a Bitcoin pool. And actually it seems as though they're going to be collecting from other companies as well, putting all of their money into this pool and using it as collateral for things. I'm really excited about Mara, to be honest, especially as we seem to be in a little bit of a Bitcoin bull moment. So yeah, I saw that
And
news as well.
specifically where they opened it.
Go ahead, let us know.
It's here in the United States, and it is compliant with regulations. Fully compliant.
You know what? I actually saw something. So it's because PayPal is going to be processing. They're processing U.S. stablecoin, and they're also that because of that, they're all and it's through some sort of Ethereum chain. So they're also going to be holding Ethereum, which I found out. And the partnership for that comes from a digital bank called Anchorage, which is not now publicly traded. But the idea that there will be more digital banks that deal mostly in cryptocurrency is an interesting phenomenon. This is something that I'm going to be following strongly as we move into the future because we love banks. If I can get some exposure to crypto on a lender side, I would really love that. Or just as a capital allocation side, I would love that as well. I feel like that's kind of a safe space, and the back end behind a lot of these major companies, Square, PayPal, whatever, Visa, even holding on to this will be an interesting place to exit in and gain some exposure without holding on to, just a volatile asset class, which, I mean, I don't want to say I'm a crypto hater, but, 2%, a healthy 2% is all I need. Anybody else looking at any news?
Did you guys talk about the Biden infrastructure plan?
Not in
Or
depth,
detail?
but
Okay,
you have
so
some notes for us?
yeah, so where some of that $2 trillion is looking to go towards is to repair and build bridges, highways, and roads. high-speed broadband internet across the country, um, to expand in transportation structure, 400 billion to care for elderly and disabled Americans, 300 billion into improving drinking water infrastructure, expanding broadband access and upgrading electrical grids, buildings, and American manufacturing. So I guess like just watch some of the stocks in those sectors because they might see some movement from his talk. And then there's also talk of raising the corporate tax rate to 28%.
Can I add to that as well?
You may.
I was on a call yesterday. It was rental related for Minnesota, and part of that bill also includes an emergency assistance part. It's the emergency rental assistance program, part of the COVID relief, and that's a $25 billion program nationally. My state's actually going to get 400 million of it. And so, as I listened to the presentation from the state housing, essentially what Biden is part of the bill they're trying to do is stabilize this bolus of tenants being put out in the street in this pandemic current situation we're in. So it looks like this is the first wave of it, and they alluded to it on the call that there's going to be a second wave that probably is going to be towards the end of the year as well. So I thought just like you with, I know I'm talking renters, I know you were talking owners, but it looks like part of that is to help stabilize and not have a bunch of people just go out in the street who are behind their rent. That's my 2 cents on that.
No, I
So,
love that. Go ahead, Siobhan.
so yeah, I think it just popped up. Someone tweeted Delta One. He tweeted that U.S. Chamber of Commerce calls proposed Biden tax hikes in infrastructure plan dangerously misguided. So what we were discussing, I'm pretty sure that's why I was not seeing the levels today. That there is going to be an element. That's why these things are going after hours. And you will see that there is an element either on corporate tax or people earning more than 400K per annum has been reduced to 300, 200, whatever it is. But you're going to see some kind of tax caveats to this entire $2.25 trillion infrastructure bill.
Yeah, man, I kind of want to keep talking about news. I kind of like that we're sort of big on news, and I kind of want to add more space in there for us to go a little bit more long on this sort of stuff.
By the way, just
Yeah.
one more news.
Oh my
For those
God,
of
no, by
you
the way,
who have
Shivam, absolutely not. I will not allow it. I'm just kidding. No, 30 seconds or less. Go for it.
Sure. Facebook was allowed for their WhatsApp subsidiary, the WhatsApp, which everyone uses in Brazil, to use to use WhatsApp as a payment gateway as well, using Visa or Mastercard or whatever it is. So that basically means like a lot of people in developing countries, including India, Brazil, they use WhatsApp a lot. Not everyone has iPhone, and they are able to use WhatsApp now as using PayPal. So that's going to be a big boost for Facebook in long run.
I love that. On the other side of things, New York did, all the legislature passed the marijuana bill. So it's going to get signed into a bill. However, 18 months to 2 years in order for stores to actually be able to sell, which seems like a really long time. In California, it seems like 2 days before we saw stores. Also, just the chip shortage. I'm just looking at Bloomberg, but I talked about it, you guys. I talked about it long and deep, and everybody ignored me and said, whatever, who cares? It'll come. The chip shortage now says that it's going to cost car makers an output of 1.3 million vehicles a year. And that's not an insignificant amount of vehicles. Every single major auto manufacturer and the smaller ones will all be feeling the pullback until we get an increased level of output on this. And with that said, let's talk about our watch list and what we're looking at for the day. Or maybe not. You guys just want to keep on talking news and just do affirmations and call it. I'm just kidding. So for me personally, I'm actually looking in a couple of different sectors, but I guess I'll talk about. Oh yeah, I can talk about 10. So for me, I'm really enjoying where we're at. I looked at all of our, and 10 is the solar, the solar whatever power ETF basically. That's what it holds a lot. SEDG, CRIQ, CSIQ, SunPower, whatever you pick your Sol, you pick a solar company. It's in 10. We've been seeing a strong downtrend on this thing for the past 2 months. I mean, from an all-time high of 125.89, and we've seen a base that's been hit not one, not two, not three, but 3 times, a triple bottom at the 81.43 level. If I can get some price action either at the 81.43 or even closer to the 80 level, I would love that actually. I wouldn't mind holding on to this. We've been seeing a lot of our solar companies boom as we know that it's most likely going to be a part of the infrastructure that Biden's talking about. So it's something that I'm looking at as a whole, as a sector. Christopher, what are you looking at for the day?
I'm watching a lot of the stuff that I've traded before. I'm watching Genius. They just dropped their CEO. The CEO newsletter just came out. They're looking at a couple of different spaces that I'm super excited about. But they're going to talk about the cartoon channel, TikTok, NFTs, COVID, and the future of Genius brand. So I'm watching their price action today.
Liv, what are you looking at for the day?
So today I'm looking at copper, steel. I'm looking at Palantir. I'm looking at Fubo. And some points for entry that I specifically want for Fubo is I would like to get in because I still think we're in a downtrend. Around when it hits $23 if it can at market open. As for Palantir, I'm just observing that, and that's pretty much it. Everything, like Shivam said, is going up, but I think it's going to go down too.
Yeah, Liv, Palantir is on the discount of a lifetime right now. Like for the short-term people, well, I don't know, but if you're long-term, it's like, Jesus, this thing is just, it's beat to hell. Vanessa, anything you're looking at for the day?
To be honest, I'm not looking at anything specifically. I'm going to do some research and also listen to this speech today that Biden makes. And I'm just going to try to figure out which stocks are going to benefit the most from the infrastructure deal. So I don't have anything specific. I'm just doing some Googling and, trying to figure out where the money's going to reside.
Yeah, we know you're the sniper queen on this one. Shivam, what are you looking at for the day, man?
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a nice egg palm sub. I'm a vegetarian, so I'm going to have a nice egg palm sub for my lunch to treat me for the chewy stuff. So I'm definitely watching Chewy.
Yeah.
I'm watching Boeing just because, Boeing moves on every good news. So maybe Boeing will move. I definitely want to watch DraftKings and Penn because I feel where they are right now, it's not the right number for them. They should be going up. And the fifth thing, which I'm 100% watching, is Digital Turbine, APPS. If it's the day for parents, right? If I'm being a parent at Chewy, then maybe it's a day for apps also to give me some more love. So yeah, that's all I'm watching today.
All right. And sorry, Rel and Marcus, but I didn't time manage well. So we're gonna do affirmations and call it because we don't go after 6:30 anymore. Hey Liv, do you want to do affirmations today?
Sure, I'd love to.
We're gonna try and collab. I got you. I got some music for you. You ready for this?
I'm ready. It's short but sweet. Welcome to Morning Affirmations with Liv. I feel healthy and strong today. I have all I need to make successful trades today. I have it within me to solve any situation and challenge related to trade blockage. I am able to make smart, educated trading decisions for myself today. I am happy and content with whatever profit I make today. That is all. Have a wonderful trading day today, everybody.
Oh my God, this is Stockhouse U, and we are out of here.